huge breaking news, people. When I read it, I couldn't believe my eyes because the series I'm about to talk about doesn't even have an anime yet. It is currently roughly 70 some odd chapters long. It's been going on for over a year in Shonen Jump. The Promised Neverland. The editor of the series, the guy that, you know, overlooks what the author is doing, the mangaka, whatever, he overlooks everything. He came out, which a lot of editors, especially lately, they come out and kind of give a little bit of words to hype the series up or give an update on the series. We've seen it time and time again with One Piece, where the editor comes out and says, next year Wano's gonna be awesome, or One Piece is already 70% complete. We hear this a lot from editors, and to be fair, sometimes it turns out to be inaccurate. I've seen it, for example, with One Piece. I've seen it with Magi, where one time they said the series is halfway done, and a month later they said it was 75 to 80% done. I was like, how? You know what I'm saying? So definitely take it to a certain amount with a grain of salt. I do think that the author already has a set goal, and I do think based on where the manga is right now, I think a chapter or two behind, but from what I read of these latest chapters, I know more or less what's going on, and holy shit, we've had humongous plot developments and advancement in the series, so I could totally see that it is 50% complete. When the editor came out and said that The Promised Neverland is already 50% complete, it made me think a lot of different things. For starters, the series is 70 something chapters long. It feels like it just started, you know what I'm saying? My Hero Academia at 169, I feel like just started. This shit is only 70 something chapters. I want to say 72 to 74. It's crazy that they're talking about is already 50% complete. That means that this manga is probably going to be at max 150. If it went to 200, I'd be shocked at this point based on these, you know, words, but it also showcases again that they are really locked in where they're going, which is a great thing. I don't like for a manga to overstay its welcome just for the money, but if I love a series, it does sadden me to hear that, hey, it's getting close to ending, and 50%, again, if we're talking like right around the time that it's going right now, is in the 140s, 150s that it's going to end. Sometimes editors drop the ball with certain aspects, and there's another huge thing that could completely change this statement and make it completely invalid, and that's the fact that when the anime drops, because after hearing this, I can almost guarantee you we are getting an anime announcement this year. If not this year, then close to the end of The Promised Neverland. They could try a different method and wait till it's almost over and then do the anime. They did it with, I think, Death Note in a way. There was something like that, but there's been a few series where they do that. Or look at Assassination Classroom. He said, it's over. I know where I'm ending it. He ended it. So there's certain aspects regarding The Promised Neverland that has that involved, but okay, again, going back, it doesn't have an anime yet, right? When it does get an anime, what happens when an anime gets announced, and what happens when an anime airs? A series explodes with popularity. Usually that's the goal, right? If The Promised Neverland does some shit of like a Death Note, an Attack on Titan, a One Punch Man, any type of regard of that, then absolutely The Promised Neverland will more than likely be pushed a lot further than the 150s, possibly past 200s, maybe even the 300s, if the anime explodes with popularity. And also, depending on just being realistic, what type of person the author is. And actually, I do believe there's two authors, so it depends on if they're having a good time working together, if they enjoy this series, they enjoy making it, and if it blows up in popularity. If it blows up in popularity and they love making it, why the hell not wouldn't they continue it if they know that they can do more, if there's different obstacles? Again, right now, where we're at in the series, maybe I'll talk a little bit spoilers and I'll give you guys a heads up when I'm about to talk about spoilers, but where they're at in the series right now, it's gone very, very far. Especially, like, I can almost guarantee, and I know I'm jumping a little bit into and segueing from the main discussion at hand, but I can almost guarantee you the first arc of The Promised Neverland, let's just say, for example, Studio Bones picks it up and it's going to do a 12 episode first season. I can almost guarantee you that 12 episode season, or even if they do a kind of slowish pace, one chapter and a piece per episode type of deal for 24, it's going to be a big one. But if they do a 12 episode anime based off the first arc, I can almost guarantee you The Promised Neverland is going to explode. Where it goes from there is my concern. Like, there's a lot of aspects with the anime being actually popular. Again, I think the smartest move is adapt that first arc with 12 episodes of gorgeous art and animation. I think that'll get a lot of people in. It's after the fact, because The Promised Neverland does have a really, really noticeable change because certain aspects happen in the story where it doesn't even feel like the same story after a certain point. So that's where it'll kind of have like that Attack on Titan question mark of where we go from here as far far as like, will it still be popular? But maybe the authors also realized that, and they realized that the first arc is going to be a hit and it'll probably go downhill from there. So we're going to just wrap this bad boy up while we still have, you know, the one up, so to speak, because The Promised Neverland still sells pretty decent without an anime. I think the latest volume is at like 300 and some thousand sales. That's really good for a newbie series. So kind of interesting there, but kind of curious what you guys think about this though. With The Promised Neverland being announced from the editor, it is already 50% done. How do you feel? Do you think that it's too early, too soon? That's just right. You don't want the authors to overstay their welcome with The Promised Neverland. Also, quickly, just want to give a little bit of spoilers so that I know, hey, I've talked about some of what's been happening lately, because I do love talking about The Promised Neverland. From where we're at right now, I read the first few pages of the second to latest chapter, where essentially they picked up the phone, and spoiler alert, by the way, again, don't spoil yourself if you don't want to be spoiled. William Minerva was there on a recording, basically giving them info of what happened, and this elevator that they were in front of, Emma and that one dude, I forget his name, but he's a part of the group of the guy that we don't even know his name yet, unless it's been mentioned, but I don't think they mentioned his name yet or whatever. So they're there by the elevator, and William Minerva's on the phone again. I haven't read the latest 2 chapters, but I can't believe we're here. I really can't believe. I am absolutely deadly shocked that we already heard from William Minerva. So we know that 100% based on this, he is an actual person. I think we also got his real name. So William Minerva was a code name, which means that he's probably being watched by either the demons or the organization. Maybe the government, the human government, is watching him so that he don't do anything. But from what I read in that chapter, and again, I know I'm a little bit behind, but I really needed to talk about this big news about it being 50% over. From what I read, it's absolutely crazy. And again, that makes totally sense that it's 50% done. We just heard a recording from William Minerva giving kind of instructions on what happened. And again, I'm imagining he's giving them clear indication of where to go next. But that was breathtaking. The fact that Emma kind of was kidnapped in a way, and it totally led to something even better. Had she just, you know, it would have been not much, or they wouldn't have gotten really anything accomplished if it would have just been her, Ray, and that dude walking around. So everything that happened with Emma turned out to be good. A lucky break in a way, but is also seemingly bad news, because again, the elevator once worked and took people to the human world. Something happened that changed the events as to why they can no longer use that elevator, and it also gives clear indication as well, yeah, there is an entrance, or there was an entrance. Maybe there's another one. Again, I'm not sure, I'm not caught up, but The Promised Neverland has been absolutely amazing, very deserving of praise, and these chapters alone are the ones that I'm like, okay, second, third season, it's going to actually be meaningful, because there's been that really big discussion, which I was talking about earlier, that the first arc is going to be the peak, and it might go downhill from there as far as popularity, because people feel the quality of the manga went downhill ever since they escaped from the orphanage. After that, people feel like, it hasn't been the same, and it definitely hasn't been the same. But chapters like this, we're getting huge bombshells, and we're 70-something chapters in. We're talking to William Minerva, a guy that I thought we wouldn't hear from for 200 to 300 chapters. Granted, it wasn't him live, so they're still leaving breadcrumbs to, unless he dies, because it seems as though potentially he's dead at this point, or something has happened to him as to why he's not talking to you in person potentially, or he couldn't be there when you escaped. It's making me possibly think that William Minerva died a long time ago. And again, this is all speculation, and I'm sorry that I'm not caught up. Again, really big news about The Promised Neverland being 50% over, but maybe this was recorded many years ago and he has no idea that, you know, Emma is alive or anything like that. Like, this was just him trying to help people out back in the day to escape from the orphanage. So a lot of different interesting aspects, but we're here, baby. So probably 70-something, 80 more chapters, and it's over. I'm curious what you guys think about all this, though. Probably by the time I upload this, I will have read the latest couple chapters so I could talk with you guys about it. What do you guys think, though, about the plot? What do you think about it being 50% over The Promised Neverland? Honestly, that saddens me, because this is one of the higher quality series in Jump that's been released in the past few years that is successful. Like, for example, they're very different series as far as what they're doing. One is a battle, one is a suspenseful, but it's better than Black Clover. I'll tell you hands down, better than Black Clover, and I'm willing to bet that it'll garner more popularity than Black Clover and quite a few other series, because again, it's really interesting and exciting. And your overall thoughts, William Minerva, did you think that we was actually gonna even hear from this guy, that he was even real in these chapters of The Promised Neverland? Exciting stuff. Crazy. That's all I have for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day, and remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Bow. Have an awesome day.